Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's D. We got a video here by Throttle House. This is the Chevy Corvette ZR1 review. Hunting Vipers. I just reacted to the Viper ACR and that car was just insane to me. And the fact that this has a title called Hunting Vipers makes me think that this car is no pushover either, bro. I know the ZR1 is not a pushover, but we're just gonna learn a little more about this from these dudes. Shout out to Throttle House, and hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys are doing well. Without further ado, let's check out this video. Yeah, I already know ZR1 is crazy. I already know. And the fact that they're coming out with a new one in 2025, woo, Chevrolet's doing it big, bro. The Chevy boys are doing it big. I think that Vette's gonna have like over 1,000 horsepower, is what I heard. I should do a reaction video on the new ZR1.
I'm Thomas.
Now, is it a C8? The new ZR1 is a C8, right?
And I'm James.
I don't know.
And this.
Woo! Woo! Slide in the corners. Slide in the corners.
Corvette ZR1. ZR1. Whatever.
Straight slide in the corners. Hey, I got a question though about Thomas. Was he like a race car driver at some point or something? Cause he's the only one that be doing the track videos, bro. I've noticed. Like I don't see James doing the track videos.
Of the C7 generation of Corvette.
That made me wonder, like, if he did this, like,
with an upgraded ZR7,
did racing before or something.
It makes 755 horsepower, but it's a car that's as much made for straight line violence as it is crushing cornering forces. And since we've already tested the now legendary Dodge Viper ACR, a street car that has topped our leaderboard, let's see how Chevy's answer fares at our track, and whether or not it too shall become a legend.
I think the Viper was 107.55 around the track. So the Chevy, the Vette's gonna have to beat 107.55. I think the dude said it was a warm-up lap. Open up the valves, baby. Let's hear that thing roar. Woo! Yo, the ZR1 is so fire. But yeah, we're gonna have to see how this thing does. And the C7 is just amazing looking. It's better than the C8 in my opinion. Like, I love the way the taillights look on this thing.
150, 170, 200, 230 has passed our finish line.
That's how you know it's real, because these dudes don't be cursing in the videos.
On the other side of 7,000 RPM. It turns out insanity is on the other side of 700 horsepower. And that is a lot of performance for $140,000 Canadian, which is what this was when it came out. That's less than what base C8s are going for now.
Yeah, y'all can have the C8s. I'm taking C7 every single day.
Anymore. You see, cars like these have skyrocketed in price. If you want a ZR1 now, you're going to have to shell out about 250 grand Canadian. That's $100,000 more than when they were new. That's a big price, and it's caused by a small problem. You see, there's no inventory in new cars right now, which has driven up the price of both new and used cars. And the reason for that, apparently, is due to a shortage of these. Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Also,
Bro had an actual chip. These guys are so funny, bro. Bro had an actual potato chip.
whatever
You gotta love Throttle House.
It's expensive, so it better be good. And this car is very, 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 very good. Let's start with the power.
That front end looks menacing.
Insane sound coming through the
But I'll
car.
admit, I think the Viper has a more menacing front end
which is great
than the
because
ZR1.
I'm the one that wants to experience it. Now it doesn't doesn't rev out much. It's no 911 GT3. But compared to the Viper, it's a much more charismatic engine.
Yeah, that thing screams. That thing
The
screams.
GT3
You gonna hear that down the
winds
road.
up to 9,000 RPM in this musical note, and the Viper kind of just drones. This is the equivalent of someone just shaking you awake. There's so much urgency.
Yeah, it does seem more intense. Not gonna lie.
This is a car that's made
Not gonna
to
lie.
put lap times on the board and smiles on your faces. That's what it's all about. That's why you're now paying, for some reason, $250,000. And it does that dangerously. That is exhilarating. Also, we have it today in the 8-speed automatic. You can get this in a manual, but this is the 8-speed. And I wonder if it might just be the only weak point of this car, because Thomas is going to talk about the handling a bit more later and the insane grip levels. But from a transmission point of view, even though the shifts themselves are quite quick, they take a second to decide that they want to shift after you've hit the pedal. So you kind of have to time it. If you wait till the red line, you're going to hit the rev limiter for a second. And if I switch it to automatic mode, I've lost that sense of control. It doesn't seem to be able to work out when it should shift.
Huh.
So I still prefer the manual shift mode, but I think faced with the decision, I'd prefer the manual. One thing's for certain.
That's interesting.
Very few cars move in a straight line the way this car does.
Yeah, I concur. I concur with James. It's got some poke. Oh my god, and the noise too. It's not as much supercharger and induction noise as it is exhaust. Okay, the chassis, what do we have here? This has got the ZTK package, which gives it specially tuned dampers, different springs, the big wing, and some Cup 2 tires. And I can tell you that it
Love the
makes
wing.
this car on our tight little twisty track, type of track where it shouldn't belong, right at home. Those dampers are amazing. It's just soaking everything up. There's bumps at this track that I usually avoid in certain sports cars. I'm not even avoiding this. I can just
This car just
drive
makes
right
me
over
happy,
it.
bro.
And the steering is really heavy, really heavy. And it just weights up in such a perfectly natural fashion in the corners. It is a
You know, we love that carbon
C8.
fiber on top of
It
the
does
wheel.
have steering as good as this. I guess we'll have to wait and see what the Z06 and the ZR1 of the C8 generation do, but as far as the base C8 goes, it's got a numb front end compared to this. This is telling me what's going on. There's an Apex.
Chevy was cooking with the
There's an
C7
Apex.
look. They was cooking with it.
Very
I don't like the
characteristic
C8
of
look.
C7. If you go in on the brakes or off throttle, the corner entry oversteers. Makes it
I had seen a C7 yesterday. That shit looks hella fire. Bro had like skulls on the back of his, on the trunk area, on the rear bumper. I was like, damn. Look like Need for Speed. I should have took a picture of it. Something out of Need for Speed for sure, bro.
Yeah, like the ACR, it's not super easy to do that. It doesn't want to. It wants to grip. But of course you can. You have 750 horsepower. You can do whatever you want. Do a drift. You know,
I just don't see how this car wouldn't put a smile on anybody's face.
Come out and
Husband, wives, children, dogs. Everybody's gonna have a smile on their face seeing this car
This is one to remember. It really is.
and experiencing
This is
this
one of the
car.
all-time great
For sure,
Corvettes.
experiencing it. I'm sure there's vet haters out there, but how could you not like this car?
As usual, our rules are 1 warm-up lap and only 3 hot laps, and you're watching the fastest lap. So, the ZR1.
Let's
This
go.
is the only other car
Let's see if
other
this
than
thing
Viper
beats
that
the
we've tested
Viper.
Where I opted for a racing suit. It's a very serious machine, and the speeds are high. I drove it with all of the traction and stability off and in manual shifting mode because the transmission just couldn't seem to figure out when to shift. But other than that, it's an amazing car at the limit. It's definitely more prone to oversteer than the Viper and not as planted, so I'm being incredibly careful with the throttle to try and get as much power down as I can coming out of the corners. This is a very engaging car to drive, and once you get the hang of the speed and the handling characteristics, it's actually quite an easy car to drive fast. Let's finish the lap.
Yes. Which y'all think is gonna win, yo? I know for sure the Viper did 107.55. So we'll see where the Vet lands. The Vet's gotta do better than the ZR1 though, for sure. And the ZR1 smacked the track.
Okay.
Oh, I'm buzzing for you. This car excited me so much more than I thought it would. I had no preconceived notions.
It's a very serious. But
See what I mean?
very,
Thomas was the one
exciting
who
car.
drove it around the
Also,
track.
Like, I know we already talked about the steering weight, but like it really.
I feel like he's done this
it
before,
really
like,
weighs up. It reminds me
before
of, like, a
YouTube
fully
and stuff. Like he
unassisted
was
steering
doing
car.
something like
Well,
this.
the Cup 2's massively
I don't
helped
know.
with that.
Yes, they always add some weight. Okay, so do you remember the top few cars?
Yes, the top is currently occupied in order BAC Mono,
Yep.
ACR Viper.
Yep.
I'm definitely gonna have to watch
They
that.
occupy the 7s.
Yep.
Wait.
Followed by
Oh,
the
he did.
10s,
They did do the
which are the
GT3,
two
not the
CSs,
RS.
the 2 and the M5.
Right. Okay. So you ready?
I wonder if they did a video on
So
with the
I wanna
RS
hear
though.
my guess.
I do. I'm sorry.
The GT3
Yes, I
RS.
do want to hear your guess. Go ahead.
I didn't really have one. I just
I
thought-
do. Okay.
I'm guessing halfway in between, 1085.
What do you mean? What do you mean your guess is 1085?
It's exactly
108.
halfway between the 7s and the 10s. And that's, I think, where this would
You've been
fit.
doing this too long. You've been doing this. So that's exactly right.
It's right?
What?
Exactly right.
I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket.
That's insane. How did he get that exactly right though?
859.
108.59.
Wow, I got that within a tenth.
Damn.
Okay, be excited about the car, not your guess, James.
All right, so the Viper got a beat still,
I've
but
never seen him
Sorry,
this
last
happy.
But
time I
still,
heard about the
that's
Viper type,
amazing.
You also showed me the stupid
That is
t-shirt
amazing.
with the weight compressed less and less.
That was amazing.
I
yeah.
actually don't, by the way, I don't remember what that phrase is, ever.
It's the lighter air. They made the air compressing lighter air conditioning
Anyway.
weight or less. Got it.
That's
Nailed
a,
it.
that's a nuts time for a nuts car.
It is a nuts car. And you know what? That makes perfect sense. Because, okay, honestly, the transmission was the biggest issue for me as the driver.
Yeah, you'd rather have the...
I'd rather the manual.
And the
just 'cause, like,
boring lift.
I tried it. The boring lift. I tried it in auto, and it didn't jive with me. It wasn't like figuring out the corners exactly, and then I just had to run it in manual mode, and I just basically had to be constantly
beautiful
thinking about the
taillights.
shifts.
I don't remember that being the case on the Camaro, on the ZR1.
No, the Camaro was a little bit faster.
The 10-speed,
It was a
yeah.
little bit faster. Something to do with the tuning in this. I don't really know what it is, but the pull
Really?
on the straights.
And the noise.
And it's just wicked. It's just wicked. This is more fun to drive than the Viper ACR.
It is, and it's less oppressive inside.
Yes. Also, like with a helmet, I fit comfortably. Like as a driver, like
There's
over
enough
6 feet,
room.
Probably be able to track this car. It's honestly it is a really, really, really great thing. And I'd been kind of like afraid of this car.
Yeah.
ever
it does
since I
seem
saw
more
it.
intense
I
than the
was like,
Viper for sure.
I've driven the C7 around the track a lot, and that car is pretty dicey going into corners. I
The
figured this would be,
Z06, you mean?
yes, Z06. Sorry. Yes,
But I'll say the
Z06
Viper
is
looks more
also-
menacing.
That's right. Yeah,
Especially
so
with
the
that huge
Z06 was
wing,
also
yo.
pretty dicey
That
going
wing
into
is just
corners.
crazy on the
This one
Viper.
does do the same corner entry oversteer, but it's not. It's more planted. It's more drivable.
Yeah, right now you're not as flustered as you were in the Viper.
The Viper was like very frustrating because it was so like hot and compact and loud.
Yeah.
This one was a much nicer thing to drive.
It's more
right?
car-like.
It is. Also, the damping is fantastic in this. Like, there's a bump on the outside of like I think turn 6.
It's more
that I
comfortable to
always
drive.
Miss with cars, didn't have to miss it in this. I just go right over it.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it's like some of the best
Nice.
damping I've seen in a track car.
But do you know what this has in common with the Viper?
Chevy.
They're both a fortune now.
Salute to Chevy, yo.
And
Like,
that,
how much is this? How much can you get these?
these are 250 now, Canadian. And
250.
you know what I've noticed? I was like, no one panics.
200 in the US.
Yes.
200.
If a rare Ferrari doesn't lose value,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
If a Lamborghini that cost 2 million is now 3 million,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
But if I tell someone that their favorite little Corvette is now 250 grand. Everyone loses
Everybody loses their
minds.
minds.
You want to know how I got these cars? I over-leveraged to remortgage my house. Like,
Did you have a coffee today? You don't normally drink
I
coffee.
don't drink caffeine.
Caffeine.
I don't think people have said it. We've witnessed the most ridiculous surge
Yeah.
in used car
Huge
prices.
surge. This is you can get these for cheaper in the U.S. than you can in Canada.
And
There's
there,
more of them.
And there is a mid-engine Z06 coming.
Yes.
So how long can this maintain its superiority?
I
don't know.
think being the last front-engine rear-drive Corvette ever, and like the halo of the entire front-engine rear-drive like lineage,
Yes.
this will probably do fine.
To some people, this is the last true
This is
Corvette.
the last true Corvette to
Yeah.
them, right? And to be perfectly honest, it has this like brutality in the straight line that I really dig. The C8 is going to be a lot more European. This feels just like being like beaten
Real
in the
American.
back with a baseball bat wrapped in an American flag. It's wonderful. It really is. I actually like
Someone's
it.
had a rough childhood.
That's
alright,
that's
so
like
it
that was
looks
some
different.
crazy
It's
wording
not-
right there,
not crazy.
Thomas.
The front end is significantly different though.
Yes,
Like,
the grill. I think they've done a great job with this.
this looks fantastic.
There's a lot of decals on this at the moment.
It is, yeah, because the owner tracks it and races it. But the hood is really cool because like that
No
is a little
surprise
cowling
with
around
that.
the intake manifold, and when the hood comes up, there's a big hole.
Just big hole.
It's
Yeah.
really cool.
It's like
Yeah,
the,
look at their
the
face.
laptops where it goes all the way down. You can just see most of someone's body.
That was my first thought as well.
Yeah, I saw it the other day.
Okay.
It's got the wheels. It's got more carbon fiber. And
Yeah.
then you've got this nuts wing because this has that ZTK
Speaking
package.
of nuts wings, though, it is
Yeah.
nuts wing, but it is not as nuts as the Viper ACR with
I
the.
mean, we looked at the downforce.
with the
No,
crate.
it's
yes,
not.
Yeah.
This does
like-
750.
I was saying that earlier.
I think.
I
That
think
wing
it's
on the
like
Viper is
900
just
something.
insane
But
looking.
But the Viper does like
17 something.
14 or 17. Yeah, it's significant.
We'll put the real numbers
We
somewhere.
don't remember them.
Yeah, it's a
one's
big
under
difference.
1,000, one's over 1,000. But no, seriously, this is a great looking car. Like the proportions of the C7 were always fantastic. I love the way that this kind of the rear end sits and how long the hood is.
Yeah,
And it's I think it's a great looking car.
it's
I think
fantastic.
great.
I
Yeah.
think though, the C8.
It's the best looking
mastered
Vet.
The look of the new.
Truthfully.
cabin. So I'm curious what happens when you jump.
But we'll
back
see how
just a
that
couple of years.
2025 one
See
is.
if it's
I gotta
still
watch a
okay.
video on that.
Okay.
Yeah, so the C8 has done a great job bringing this into the modern world.
Yeah. It did. This is a bit. Well, I mean, this is the end of the C7.
It is the end.
Right,
And
so-
it's a lot more palatable
Oh.
than the SLB of 140.
Yeah.
Now it's
So
250,
the new
it's faster.
ZR1 is
Like you're
C8.
competing with new GT3s.
This is the price of a new GT3.
Yeah, and that starts to
I
become.
mean, like to be fair, performance-wise though, they're pretty close.
They
GT3
are.
Just took it.
they
right
are,
here.
and this is more insane.
This is more fun.
Man, are y'all getting
In its own
the
way.
Porsche 911
GT3
GT3 or are y'all getting this?
precision
Or y'all getting the
is like
Viper?
Just excitement.
I should have added
No,
that in the
there's
poll
also something
earlier.
That I really dig, right? We got the leather everywhere, stitching, right? There's carbon fiber everywhere on the steering wheel, on the dashboard. There's Alcantara. It
Yeah,
says,
the interior looks
01
so
on the steering wheel.
fire.
Oh, so you're sticking to Z now?
So
I've been
fire.
flopping back and forth.
It's
Totally
better than the
flopping.
Viper interior.
If I say
for
a
sure.
equal number of each, I can't upset everyone because Americans feel that they are
I think-
50% of the world.
I think you'll upset everyone. You'll upset everyone by doing that.
Yeah, you're probably right. Okay, so listen, there's not a lot of bad stuff in here. I just think the overall design has not aged super well. So I mean, the seats are also, these are not the full carbon fiber kind of bucket things.
Right.
These are those are a little bit better for a tall person, I've heard.
Those are better.
Those seats
Yeah.
look comfortable though.
Because it's got the ZTK. It's got all the crazy performance stuff.
Yes.
You just thought you'd go for the buckets.
I don't mind these seats actually. They held me in just fine. I find them pretty comfortable, right? You know what dominates the interior of this car is that massive cowling.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's like you can't even can't see anything in the road in front of you. Parking this is not.
Oh, wow.
It's a carbon fiber buttress.
Oh wow.
Exactly.
That's the first time in my life I've used the word buttress. I hope it's correct.
That'd be like this right here
It's not
to
correct,
him.
but I was just going to give it to you.
Driving around like this.
Anyway, this is not bad. I think this car's about performance. No one's going to care or remember this stuff. They're going to remember 755 horsepower,
Yeah.
right? They're going to remember
Preach.
supercharged V8. Like that's
They got
the
some
thing
Bose
that
sound
people take
system.
home.
I didn't know that.
All right, so here's a tough question.
They're going to remember 16 injectors, right?
Yes, that is a lot of vaccines.
Now here's another question. Would y'all take this
question for you.
or would y'all take the
Similar price,
2024 GTR Nismo?
manual, all things the same.
I'm taking the GTR. I'm not gonna lie.
Viper ACR.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm taking that
That's
GTR.
honestly
But this
a
is
good
fire
question.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Because this is actually a little bit more fun to drive around the track.
And potentially more livable. in the world,
I'd say definitely more livable.
but
actually.
it doesn't have nearly the presence.
No, the Viper ACR feels more collectible. More
When we
special.
saw that, we all went,
We're like, what on earth is that? Yeah, it has that like, holy crap, this thing is neat. And like you get to
Yeah,
tell
I'll say
crazy
it's-
stories with the Viper. Like
it's
the
Dodge's
designer
craziest,
put it on the
most
back of the
menacing
trailer
car.
and tried to tow it, and it reduced his top speed on the highway because there's so much downforce, right? Like that Viper is still to this day one of the most insane things I've ever driven. And I think in terms of specialness, it's just above this. But in terms of ownership, this one is probably nicer to actually have.
I agree.
There you go.
Yeah.
So there we have it. In a duel
Yeah.
of Viper ACR versus ZR1, the Corvette represents the more livable, animated option. No, it doesn't quite match up to the ACR's time on our track, but we are still talking
It's damn near
about the
close, though.
absolute
It's enough
upper
performance for me.
echelon of American performance cars here. The
It's
question
enough
for this Corvette
performance.
is, will the incoming C8 Z06 and ZR1 variants be so good that they make this car just another page in Corvette history? Or will the C7 ZR1 always stand on its own? We'll just have to wait and see. Thanks for watching.
Yes, sir, man. Great video. Another great video from Throttle House. Hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all did enjoy it, please make sure you like and subscribe. I'm gonna leave the link to the original video in my description. Y'all let me know some other videos to go ahead and react to, and I hope you guys have a good and blessed day. Peace out.